devil's in there. But it's weird and pissed off, whatever it is. Damn it, Charles, torch it!
Hey folks, it's Rob of Rob's Movie Collection, and continuing our scary movies for the month of Halloween for October. So, this episode we have The Thing from 1982, directed by John Carpenter. That's why it's often known as John Carpenter's The Thing. It's based on a novella called Who Goes There by John W. Campbell Jr. The Thing was, as many of you know, originally made into a film in the 1950s called The Thing from Another World, starring James Arness. And John Carpenter remade it in 1982. It's not often when a remake turns out to be better than the original film, although that's a matter of perspective. I guess if you grew up with the original film, you might feel that one's better. I did see the original when I was a little kid, but I didn't really remember it that much, and when I finally ended up seeing this film, I didn't really even make the connection right away. I didn't get to see it in the movie theater, but I got to see it later on VHS, and it was very scary and kind of gross and all, but I was, and still am, into special effects and prosthetics and all that sort of thing, so it was kind of enjoyable from that point of view as well. It's a pretty good movie. There's a lot of suspense in this movie. They kind of approached it in a different way, whereas in the original you have the Thing as like a Frankenstein type monster, an actual physical being, whereas in this one it's kind of I don't know if you'd call it a parasite, I guess, that kind of takes over people and changes them and that sort of thing. So you never know who is the thing, who is the creature, and where it is at the time. And that's one of the... there's a lot of paranoia in this movie about who's what and who's who and that sort of thing. It stars John Carpenter's muse, Kurt Russell, as R.J. McReady, sorry. Yeah, I think it's pronounced McReady. Jeez, I just saw it, I should know it. What De Niro is to Scorsese, you know, what John Wayne is to John Ford, Kurt Russell is to John Carpenter, and good thing too, because they made some really great movies together. Co-starring Wilford Brimley as Blair, Keith David as Childs, Richard Mazur as Clark, and several other great actors that just do a great job of being paranoid and scared and all. It didn't do well when it first came out, which is pretty much the norm for a John Carpenter film. That always seems to be the way it goes, and then it becomes a cult classic. That kind of seems to be the way it is with John Carpenter films. They always start out not doing too terribly well, and then they just turn into these really successful things once they're on home media, and I don't know what it is about that. I'm sure you have your exceptions like Halloween, but so many are like that. My favorite John Carpenter film, Big Trouble in Little China, is definitely like that. So, but now it's become this big film and the standard for a lot of this type of films. The film's musical score was actually composed by Ennio Morricone, the Italian composer. It's kind of rare when you don't see John Carpenter scoring his own film. He usually does his own scores, but he decided to go with Ennio Morricone. So that's pretty good. It's always good to have him around. The special effects were done by Rob Bottin, who also worked with Carpenter on The Fog. Bottin was actually an apprentice to the great Rick Baker, big special effects guy, has done so many things. Bottin's first big break, well, not first, but his big break was in The Howlin'. He did the werewolves in The Howlin'. And it's another one that we're going to do any day now, once we get to the werewolf section of this whole thing. A couple of years ago, they made a remake. Well, it wasn't really a remake. It was actually supposedly a prequel to the 1982 film that actually told the story of what happened at the Norwegian base right before the events that happened in the 1982 version. and it actually ends with the pilot shooting or trying to kill the dog that escaped from there. The DVD itself, let's see, we've got a lot of good stuff here on the back. I've got let's see, you got a commentary by Kurt Russell and director John Carpenter. Now, I haven't actually listened to that because I gotta be honest, I think when DVDs came out and this whole notion of commentaries happened, a lot of people really didn't know how to do these commentaries, especially directors. There are a couple that I've heard that are pretty good, like the Peter Jackson ones on the Tolkien movies. George Lucas and the Star Wars movies haven't been too bad. But I remember when I first got Big Trouble in Little China, there was a commentary by Carpenter and Kurt Russell, and I was very excited to listen to it, but it turned out to be really bad, and it was just Carpenter just going on about his philosophy and stuff, and not even paying attention to what's going on in the film. And meanwhile, I'm thinking, oh, what happened here? Tell me about this part that you were filming in this, and tell me something about the movie and about when you and nothing. So I haven't really been in a hurry to listen to this commentary. Maybe it's different, I don't know, but I haven't really heard it, so I don't think that's his strength, or either one of their strengths there. But it's also got a great little documentary here, The Thing, Terror Takes Shape. That's an 80-minute documentary, so it's pretty cool, and it shows a lot about how they made the film, and interviews with the cast, and special effects, and even Rob Bottin himself, and so it's really good in that respect. Special effects footage, never before seen stop-motion animation footage, just a lot of good stuff there. A lot of good stuff to see on this one. I don't know if the Blu-ray has more or anything different, but this is one of those DVDs that definitely has a lot of good stuff on it. So, check out the movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely a good one to see for Halloween. If you have seen it, check it out again. It's a great thing to watch. I try to watch it every year during the month of October when I watch a lot of horror movies. So it's definitely a great one. It's definitely a classic, deservedly so. And yeah, The Thing. Check it out. Alright, till next time and our next scary horror movie, keep watching scary movies. Alright, bye.